Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate with host Glenn Sutherland.
Welcome to a new episode of A Canadian Investing in the U.S. with Glenn Sutherland. This week, my guest is Marti Watts. Marti, you want to start off by just giving people a bit of an introduction to yourself, who you are?
My name is Marti Watts, Marti Jo Watts. A lot of people call me Joe, Marti, whatever. And I am from Indiana, and I am in the best group in the world as far as real estate goes. So if you're interested at all in real estate or getting into it, listen to my story.
And we just did we've been talking for like 15 minutes before this, and I love her story. So maybe let's just start with that, and we'll see what questions arise as we go through it. But Marti has an incredible story. So anyway, Marti, let's start off, before COVID. What happened? Or how?
Okay.
Yeah.
So before COVID, I was a consultant for physicians for 15 years. I ran my own business, and I contracted with a huge company, and I had thousands of doctors, and I ran half of Indiana and half of Kentucky. And it was awesome. It was one of the best things. I loved it. I never really thought about going anyplace else. However, when COVID came around, they told us, even though we were consultants and weren't really, patient care anymore, they still said that they were going to fire us, even past the part where they didn't have to. So they fired 385 of us, and it crippled me. It absolutely crushed my world. I had a company vehicle. I was making six figures. My kids we were great. I mean, things were good. And it literally destroyed my life and almost me. So they fired 385 of us. But right before they fired us, we knew that they were going to fire us because they kept threatening to fire us. And again, even after the government, even after they didn't have to, which really sticks hard with me. But I was on my way. I don't know if I can tell this again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have recorded the first time.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's beautiful. It's just hard. So my child has had 15 head surgeries. I'm sorry, he's had 18. He's had 18 head surgeries. He got the first one when he was 18 months old, and the last one when he was 18 years old. And he's just one of those kids that he's just amazing. And he was a hard worker and graduated school early and all this. And I've just taught my kids, a certain way. So I knew we were going to get fired. I'm a single mom. Things are going good, but I knew I was going to get fired if I didn't take that vaccine. And I panicked at the last because I knew what was in it. I knew what it could cause. I mean, for heaven's sakes, I'm going in these doctors' offices teaching them. And I knew the stuff before the stuff hit the media, a lot of it. And I told my kids, I can't do this. I can't get this. There's just no way. Every doctor that I have a relationship with told me not to get it, every time I would go see them with my job. But I panicked at the end. I told them, I said, I have fought a good fight this long, but I have to get out. We're going to lose everything we have. And so I'm on my way to get the vaccine, and there was a wreck, and I was stuck behind a wreck, and I used to turn around in the median, but there's those metal things that I couldn't do. So I just sat there. I missed it. I missed it. They closed. So I thought, well, I'll just get it tomorrow. So I get home, and my son, again, he's just amazing. He's one of those quiet types. He is nothing like me. And he said, Mom, did you get your vaccine today? And I said, no, buddy. He got behind a wreck and told me. He's like, oh, okay. Just kind of quiet. And I said, why? What? I told you I was going to. He's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, something. What's going on? Why are you asking? And he's like, well, I just thought you would fight harder. And like I said, take a spoon, man. Take a spoon and just dig my heart out. It crushed me because I thought all these years that I've busted my hind end being a single mom, and God has brought us through everything. And here I am letting my own kid down because I've taught them, you fight. Don't you let anybody change your mind. You fight for what you believe in. And don't let anybody, including me, back you down. If you believe in something that bad, you you stick to your guns, right? And that's what I was not doing. And so, it hit me so hard. And then I prayed about it. And
When he said I thought you'd fight harder, is that regarding like getting the vaccine or getting getting the job, or what was it he was referring to?
so a couple things. Yes, getting the vaccine. I thought you'd fight harder against no matter what, Mom, no matter what. You said you weren't getting that vaccine, right? Going against my own word. And then my faith. Because I've taught them their whole lives that God is our provider. He will get us through. Even my tattoos, like this is Yahweh in Hebrew, and this is my favorite verse, Philippians 4:13. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And here I am, right in front of the future of the United States, our youth, letting him down. I was like, oh my gosh, God, where are you? I'm going to lose everything. I don't understand, but I knew that I had to do it. And so I didn't get the vaccine. I lost everything. I lost my house. I lost my company car. I lost everything. And we had to go find this little apartment that we could all stay in, and it wasn't even big enough. It was only 2 bedrooms, so I slept in the living room for a long time. We almost lost that, but again, my kid, he was older, and he had bought himself cash a motorcycle, and I was going to lose our apartment too. And he had to put his motorcycle up so we wouldn't lose our apartment. And you talk about feeling like mother of the year right here, like whoop whoop, right? I felt like the worst mom in the entire world. And my kids, both of them had jobs. I've taught them responsibility. They both helped me pay the electric bill. They helped me pay insurance. They helped me along with friends and family too, but my own children were helping me pay the electric bill. I mean, it was very humbling to me. And man, now in hindsight, I see how much it taught them. But I met this incredible man on YouTube. I was down about as far as I could go. I lost everything, trying to figure out what to do. I'm in the kitchen, and I literally am doing the dishes, crying in my dishwater, literally dropping in my tears in my dishwater. And my TV is on, but I didn't even know it. Really, I didn't even think about it because it was just on YouTube, and it would just roll to the next thing. And I was praying and begging to God is what I was doing. And I was like, please show me, please guide me, please help me have the faith that I should have. And this guy said, hey, a lot of people think that you can't get into real estate unless you're rich or you have a lot of money, or I was like, well, duh. Yeah, nobody can get into real estate with tons of money, right? And he's like, but they're wrong. I was like, wait, what? That really got my attention. I was like, whatever, that's crazy. So I went into the next room, and I just started doing whatever, but I kept hearing him. And just with prayer, I just got, just listen to this guy. And so I went in there, arms crossed, thank you, honey. Arms crossed, like I was suspicious. I was, there's so much fraud, and I just didn't think it. And I told my son this. Look at everybody that is a millionaire in the United States. What does every single one of them have in common? So I started doing some research. I want to know. And so I started looking and reading. And I don't care what kind of millionaire they are, what it is, they all of them somehow in that portfolio somewhere had real estate in their portfolio somewhere. So I was like, okay, I literally am down to nothing, but I'm going to figure this out through you, God, but I'm going to figure this out how to get in this community. And so the last bit of anything that I had, I took and got into the community, and is absolutely, my life will never be the same, ever be the same again, ever, ever, ever.
Are you looking to invest in the US? Are you looking for a coach that has been doing this for much more than 1 year? In fact, doing this for almost 10 years? Do you want to do one-on-one calls? Do you want to actually have someone looking at your deals and actually thinking and worrying about your projects? If that's of interest to you, I'd love to get on a phone call with you. go to glennsutherland.com or at CanadianInvestingInTheUSA.com and schedule a call. We'll just do a quick 15 minutes, see if it works for you.
My first real estate deal was 40 acres, and we bought and sold that in about 3 months. And then my second one came quickly, which it worked out really super great because it's kind of an accident.
Yeah.
We bought with a new business partner. He is from Utah, and we bought a medical clinic. And in my mind, I thought, oh, okay, it's for sale. We're going to buy it and then flip it, or, we're just going to resell it, for a good stuff. Well, my best friend owns this clinic, and I'm sitting in it right now. And she said, hey, Marty, if you will sell my medical clinic, I will take you and your 2 children to Hawaii for 9 days. And with it being a single mom, I mean, again, life was good and life was okay before, but I just didn't have the extra money for vacation. So the last time I got to take my kids anywhere ever, my daughter was 4, and my son was 8, and I got to take him to Disney World. And now they're 18 and 22. So they were out of their mind. They're like, we're going where? I'm like, I'm gonna sell this medical clinic for her. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, done. I'm doing it. So I sold it. And the business partner that I sold it with, we've been doing looking for some deals together, and we got this closed. And then we decided to, instead of flip it and sell it, we decided to open up a medical spa in it and keep it.
Yeah.
And I just got back from Hawaii and no money out of my pocket. And it was the most amazing, incredible time I've ever spent personally, myself, or with my children. I got to sit on the beach watching the sunrise and playing in the water.
Yeah.
And my kids did too. And I've never ever had such a blessing in my life because I mean, what would it $5,000-6,000 a piece for everything if we had to pay for the tickets, right? It was incredible. And now we're about a month ish or 2 from opening this awesome med spa. And that's kind of my story. And now I'm starting a team of people here that we are going to focus on RV parks and mobile home parks, buying them as a few investors together, buying them and keeping them, and just focusing on just those 2 things. But like I said, if anybody wants to get in real estate, I do not care where you're at in life, what's going on, if you think you can or can't do it, because our brains are so powerful, our minds are so powerful. If you think you can't do something, you can't. But I promise you could do this. I promise, and it could change your life just like it did mine.
Awesome. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
So, I think people listen to this, they're like, it's an awesome story, but like just a few nuts and bolts. So like when you went to find this place, was it like, how did you find this medical building? Was it a foreclosure or pre-foreclosure, or how did you even find these people to purchase this building, or even the 40 acres of land?
Okay. So I'll start with this medical. She's my best.
Let's focus on the one. Yeah. I like it.
So she's my best friend, one of my best friends in the world. And she knew I was kind of into real estate, but she didn't exactly know. She knew I wasn't a realtor. So she's like, she wasn't sure what I did. And then when I explained to her what I did and how I worked with investors in all 50 states, she was like, wait, what? Go sell my medical clinic and I'll take you to Hawaii. So I wasn't even looking for this. I wasn't focused on medical property. I was really focused on more land with me and my business partner that we buy land. Yep. And so it was just my best friend, just talking.
Well, I think the key to this is that you were telling people what you were doing. Because, some people, they do this, like go into real estate and then they're like, I'm just going to find all new leads and everything online. And they don't even think about the people around them, the people they already know, the existing contacts they already have. And I think it comes down to like people, letting them know what you do. Like, I go to my kids' hockey, I wear my branded hat, I wear my stuff. And some people are like, you have that same hat, but you have it in like 5 different colors. What's the hat about? And, starts a conversation, right? But whatever it is, but you just have to let people know what you're even doing.
Right, because they don't understand it. Because people ask me all the time, and this is the funnest thing about this. People say, "Now, Marty, can you explain to me?" And Holly, that own this medical clinic, she said the same thing. She goes, "You're not a real estate, but you're not a realtor, but you're in real estate. How does that work?" And explain that to me. She goes, "What is creative financing? I've never heard of it in my life."
Yeah.
And then people get still, and they get all like geared up and they're excited and they think I'm going to talk for a half an hour about what creative financing is.
Yeah.
And then when I tell them, they're like, really? It's just hard to believe. Creative financing is whatever we want it to be. We don't have to work with banks. We work with investors in all 50 states and even outside. I mean, we work with investors all over, but I'm kind of newer, so I don't want to screw anything up. So I stay in the United States. I stay in my backyard. And and it's just when we find something, wherever you might find it, like you said, a friend, wherever you find it, you just start talking to that person, just start a conversation and find their pain. Okay. What is their problem? What is their pain? Why do they need to sell whatever they're selling? Land, their home, their medical office. Find out why. Just talk to people. It is not, you don't have to go to school. You don't, like Elon Musk say, you don't need a big college degree. Just talk to people. And she's one of my best friends. I didn't know she was ready to sell this.
Yeah. So did you do a creative deal on this? Like, is it a sub two, a contract for deed, or a seller finance?
Yes, this is a creative finance. And actually, the other one was so good, we just paid, my business partner just paid cash for it. But this is my first creative deal.
Yeah.
Yes, we did do this creative finance, and we just had a conversation with the seller, and I got my business partner Dustin involved, and he explained a little bit better than me how it works. And she said, "Okay, let's do this." So we got it done in a little over a month.
So you did a sub two, it sounds like. So you took over their mortgage.
Well, she didn't have one.
Oh, okay. So then you could do whatever. You'd even way more options if they don't have a mortgage.
Yeah, exactly right. Because we just pay her. Because here's the thing. And I started doing this wrong, and I almost did it with Holly. But I'm like, no, hang on. Because even with my personality, people still push back on me, right? So let's say something's being sold for $500,000. Okay,
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you, and you're like, "Yep, I want 500,000 for my land." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome." And at first I was doing it wrong because I would ask you, "Wow, what are you going to do when you get $5 million or $500,000? What are you going to do with $500,000? What are you going to do with that?" And I was asking wrong because some people say it's none of your flipping business. I mean, not very many, right?
But it does get them excited about spending the money. But yeah, I get
Right,
yeah.
right. It does, and they are excited about getting it. But then I want to be realistic with them about their excitement. So I'm like, "So the first thing you're going to do is write a big fat check to the IRS," and then no excitement, totally silent. And they're like, "Wait, I know, but wait, what?" And so we talk about that just a little bit more. And so instead of saying it like that, I ask a question. I still ask the question. I just ask a little faster. I say, "So, oh my goodness, you're getting $500,000. That's awesome. What's the first thing you're gonna do?" "Well, I'll tell you what the first thing is you're gonna do. You're gonna write a big fat check to the IRS. But so what's the second thing you're gonna do?" I never ever get to the second part because like, whoa, wait, what? How much? And then we get into that conversation. So creative financing not only helps the person that's buying it because we don't have to go through banks and red tape and take forever, right?
Yeah.
It helps the seller out tremendously because of the taxes and how those work, and that we're paying them. And a lot of people, they're like, "Heck yeah, I'll take a mailbox check," right?
Yeah. Well, honestly, like, especially depending on what their situation is, if they're retiring or whatever, they've been used to getting a paycheck. And if they're like on a medical clinic, I don't know. It depends if they've put into some sort of retirement account, but it's nice to continue to get a paycheck. Like honestly, that's what you want it to continue going. Like that's the fear of retirement. The paycheck stops.
Exactly. And so instead of giving her this lump sum of money, we pay her monthly, and that is she's being our bank. So it's not taxes on that, right? So, I mean, income and how that works it is, but not a big, fat, huge chunk at the
Yeah, not the
beginning.
same way. She's not going to pay a big capital gains check right off the bat.
Correct. Yes, sir. Now, the 40 acres was that I'm telling you, that was a God thing. I was early morning online looking. I was looking for land because my other business partner just likes buying land. And I said, oh my goodness, I found 40 acres. And again, it was early, so I wasn't quite awake yet. And it said $95,000. What? There's no way somebody's selling 40 acres for 95. What's wrong? What's wrong with the land? There's got to be something wrong with it,
Yeah.
right? And so I called the realtor immediately and I said, so tell me what's wrong with the land? Because this price is crazy or it's wrong. He goes, no, ma'am, the amount is correct. It doesn't have an easement. And I'm like, so what? There's ways around that. He said, yes, ma'am, I know, but most people do not want to deal with that. I said, well, I'm not most people. So I called my business partner real quick and I said, hey, oh my gosh, you won't believe this. I found 40 acres for $95,000 right here, right around where I live, but it doesn't have an easement. He said, I don't care what it does or does not have. Get off the phone, call him back and tell him we'll take it. So it was only on the market for like 6.5 hours.
Whoa, so you were acting quick.
Yes, sir. And the property, because it didn't have an easement, it touched several people's property around those, and a lot of them wanted it. But of course, they didn't want to pay the worth. But I got somebody gave one of the farmers there and landowners my name and number, and our 40 acres backed up to his already existing acres, and it had been in his family forever. And I mean, long time forever. And they had built this beautiful cabin back there, and it just worked out wonderful because the thing is with the seller, it has to be a win-win for both of us or we won't do it. Because if I talk to you and this sale is going to hurt you or it's not going to come out for a win for you, I just say, you know what? I'm not your girl. I just don't think that this is a good deal because of whatever for you. I had to do that with another medical clinic. We were going to buy that one first, and it wound up that it wasn't great on her side. So we decided it was the best feeling in the world saying, we just don't think that this deal will work out because it's not a win-win for both of us. And I wanted that so bad. I wanted it, but it felt even better to tell her, just keep it. You're doing great. This would not be as good as what you're doing now. So just keep it and keep rocking and rolling with what you're doing.
So with the 40 acres, did you, like that farmer that butted onto it, did you do a creative deal to him? Like, is he making payments on it or did he just buy it all cash?
Yes, so he did buy it all cash. And the reason that we did a cash deal on that, which we usually do not, we do down payments a lot of times, big down payments.
Because that'll cover a lot of your expenses then. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But it worked out in the way with my business partner and him. It just worked out better, quicker that we just did cash. So yeah, we did just do cash on that deal. But he actually, that was a complete total cash deal. Yeah. And he was tickled to death because that was, again, his grandfather's land that handed down to them. And then it was wonderful.
So he wasn't upset in any way that, like, you bought it for a price, then marked it up and then sold it like for cash right to him right afterwards. He wasn't like, oh, if I would have been a little bit quicker on the, I could have picked it up myself right off the start.
Well, funny you should say that. Yeah, it was like jumping into the deep end of the pool because it was my very first deal. And my business partner said, you go, girl. I'm not gonna even you mess up, And so my goodness, yes, I had all of those neighbors fighting and not being, most of them were great, but there was a couple of them that were not very nice at all. Like, well, okay, I want it. And I'll buy it from me right now for $100,000. I'm like, you know what closing costs are? It might have been $95,000, but what? No, of course not. Well, it doesn't have an easement, so you're kind of backed in the corner, and you have to sell it to me. That conversation ended shortly. Yeah, I'm like, no, have a good weekend. him, bye-bye. But the rest of the neighbors were really, really nice. And then
Yeah.
and then when Brad called me and explained the situation about the family hair and it had been his that ground and all that, and then this butted up to him. I just really wanted him and his wife and his sweet kid. I just wanted him to have it so bad. So yeah, yes, he did say yes. And I said, let me tell you something. I said, with what you do in farming and what you do also Monday through Friday job, let me ask you something. So if you bought something at an auction, say a tractor for a great deal, and it was just absolutely the best deal you've ever came across in your life, and you knew you were buying it to resell it, how much less would you take? And that was it. He didn't ask me any more questions. He said, done, it's sold. I'll buy it from you.
That's awesome because you're like related to like what he would relate to, and yeah, that was perfect. Awesome. I love it.
Well, and on the flip side of that too, and I like that you asked that because I'll never forget the experience. But one of the neighbors, and again, I'm one of the nicest people you ever meet most of the time, right? I just love people. But with calling all of them and saying, hey, do you want this? We just bought it. Do you want it? Well, one particular neighbor was not very nice to me and talked down to me, and I did my best. Yes, sir, I understand. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I did my best to be as polite and businesslike and nice as I could. But when he got to the point where he was just mean, just not very nice at all. And and I said the same thing to him. I said, sir, you're asking us to sell you a piece of property that we wouldn't even break even on it because of closing costs and everything else that we paid for. This is ridiculous. And I asked him the same question. I said, if you had a piece of land, which you do, a big piece of land, if you had a piece of land, and you had the opportunity to sell it for this, would you sell it for a loss even? And that shut him up too. But then he started really railing on me. I said, you know what? I said, this conversation is going nowhere. I guess you don't want it that bad, and that's fine because there's other people that do. And I just guess I'm not your girl, and this is not a good deal for us. You have a good weekend. He said, no, hang on. Now, girly, now you just this is a touchy situation. I said, no, you have a good weekend. And I haven't talked to him since. So when I met Brad, that other gentleman wanted it so bad, but he was mean as a snake. And then I was like, I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done even talking to you. But then when I met Brad and he told me his story, the same thing, his property backed up to it along with that other neighbor. He was so sweet and kind, and his wife and his kids. I wanted him to have it so bad. And we made it happen. And it was a huge win for both of us.
Yeah, and when you're talking to difficult sellers like that person, it's not worth your time to be on there. It's not worth you getting upset about it and working up about it. It's, if they're, just call it a dead lead or a cold lead and move on to the next one. Maybe keep track of it. Maybe you want to follow up later if they all say no, but it's not worth your stress, your time to deal with those people. And that's how I handle it too. Be polite, say thank you. I'll see you later.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And the best thing ever, because anything that you're in, and me and you are very blessed to do what we do full time. But when you have a job, a W-2 job, you have to bite your tongue. You have to figure it out. You have to work with ornery people. However, you don't have to work with people you don't like, and you don't work with people you don't know, like, and trust.
I love it. Marti, this was a ton of fun stuff and information. If anyone wanted to get a hold of you, you don't have to give any contact information, but if you wanted to do that, is there a way that people would reach out to you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. You can just flat call me, blow up my phone. I would love it. I will return every single call. And my number is 812-603-8375. And you can call me if you're in the best place in your life and just curious. You can call me if you're in the worst place in your life. And I just want to give you the opportunity, and I want you to get this in your head and your heart. But if you're sitting there saying there's no way I could not do it, I promise you there is a way. I was so close to losing everything that I had.
Marti, thank you so much for your time and sharing your story. I know, especially when I got you to tell it twice. So I know it was harder to tell it the second time. I appreciate you going through all that.
Glenn, thank you. I'm honored, and I was just super excited to be on a podcast because I'd never been on one before. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate you too. You have a blessed day, hon.
That was a nice video. Bye.